So, Anna, if you could tell us the name of your title of your talk, and I know you said it before, but we forget already. That was an hour ago.
Okay, yes, the title it is Human Aromatase Enzyme Classification Modeling, Structural Alerts, and Chemical Categories for Read-Across. And what I am presenting, it is the job I made on human aromatase, applying different kind of in silico approaches, like classification modeling based on fragment methods and structural alerts. And also I gave some examples about what could be a read-across on aromatase and category formation. So that was the main topic.
Okay, excellent. Now, is there any questions for Anna? Sometimes we need one. Oh, Mark Cronin, please. Thanks, Mark.
Hi, Anna. Good to see you.
Hi, Professor.
You've used a lot of fragment-based methods, or some different fragment-based and fingerprint-based, so you'll probably know what my question is. Do you have any idea which are the best ones, or did you get any idea which are best used for what situation? Because we know they have different properties.
Thank you, Professor. Good question. Yes, it depends what do you want to do, of course. So if it's more about screening, probably the classification modeling. If it's more about to do a single prediction of a single chemical, or maybe to do some grouping, the structural alerts could be more flexible in that case. And then at the end, what I was given was exactly some examples about how could be the application of the structural alert for grouping. That I think that could be the ideal case. Actually, it's a work we have been working for a lot of times. And as you saw on the last example, I was giving out ionic liquids. We was trying to not only derivate fragments that were structurally based, but also fragments with some kind of mechanistic relation. And so I would suggest to use in that way.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Andrew Worth has a question. Andrew?
Oh, hi, Anna. Thanks for your presentation. I have a question about the azoles that you were modeling. Seems like a reasonable data set. If I understand correctly, you applied a read-across approach. Did you consider maybe doing a traditional QSAR type of model? Because, you know, either for the three groups collectively or separately, maybe compare and contrast the results?
Actually, to make let's say to take a QSAR approach, it could be fine. It was not my main objective. Actually, aromatase is a point that it should be, in my opinion, quite easy to modeling. We made a previous job in collaboration with another of my colleagues, Dr. Shaiwan from India, that we also published about antagonist and agonist activity. And in that job, we was doing more regression modeling. But my main focus, it was about to try to develop the methodology, and then aromatase was, let's say, quite, how can I say, it was not so complex a point to work on it.
Okay, thank you. My guess is it would probably work out pretty well.
Thank you. Hand up or not? Emilio, you want to ask a question?
Oops.
Yeah, Emilio, you're muted at the moment.
I'm not asking a question, but simply to reply to Andrew. Anna was.
Emilio, your video went and your voice went, so we're just going to go to somebody else.
This is the answer to your question. So indeed, there was this split in between the two.
Emilio, we didn't hear it. Do you want to try it again?
So sorry, I have problems with internet. Yeah, indeed, what I said that Anna mainly addressed the read-across, while Christian addressed the in silico. To answer to Andrew.
Okay, thank you, Emilio, for that clarification. Susanna, you have a question.
Okay, yes, it's kind of a half question, half comment, because it's related to a paper that I saw, because do you know, so you picked, if I understood it right, you picked the compounds that are estrogen receptors, antagonists and agonists from this TOX21 assay, right? And do you know how they make sure they're not using cytotoxic concentrations or concentrations that are near cytotoxicity? Because so this paper, I can send you after, they say like, even if you don't actually cytotoxicity, but if it's near that, it might activate these receptors, or it might affect these receptors, even if it's not a specific, even if they don't bind it. Just because the cell is super stressed, you might see activity in these things.
Okay, about your question, for sure I'm not specialist about that, but in the protocol of the assay, it was described that they were using MCF7 arrow cell line. Then what they was doing, it was they was measuring the inhibition concentration against a pattern. I think they used a letrozole probably as a control. And I don't think there is another kind of interference or something on their measures.
Thank you, Susanna. Is there any further questions for Anna?
No, I don't think so.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Let me see. Well, there will be a question. I can guarantee you that. Do you want to bet €100 that there will be no questions for Anna? No, I guess he wouldn't do that. Max, you wouldn't, have you anything in your head? No. I find it. I'm going to ask you a question then. So I find some of this stuff. I found it very confusing at the start. Both Christian and your projects, the use of QSAR and read across. So could you explain, just like in a couple of lines, the differences between QSAR and read across, and how that could be applied for hazard identification?
Okay, so QSAR, it is more about quantitative, so as the name says, quantitative structural activity relationships, and it's more about the calculation of descriptors, let's say, and it's more, in my opinion, it's a methodology more, let's say, numerical, based on statistics and everything. In the case of read across, it is a technique for data gut filling, and it is a technique that have in consideration more other aspects, so not only structural similarity or structural, let's say, analysis. Also, we have considered other aspects as a mechanism of action, common biological pathways. So I think that's the main. In any case, we have a specialist here for the topic.
Yeah, but I'm asking you as an ESR, and I suggest very strongly that you and Christian and Emilio, just the three of you, go on, or any of your other colleagues, go and write a little review about that, explaining to biologists what these terms are and how they can be used, because I think that would be very helpful, and I would be very happy to receive it in toxicology in vitro. Oh, but Mark has another journal. Maybe you submit it to Mark's journal. He's got a journal on computational toxicology.
I'll send a link. My colleague has just literally published one in APLA, pretty much doing what you're doing, hopefully in fairly simple terms. I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, very good. Okay, that ends the ESR sessions, and I think it was really nice. It was very organic, and it's difficult to do this organically on a Zoom call. And I think we all got, these Zoom calls became toxic after so many times. And people are educating and you're watching your TV on in your office and stuff like that. It's terrible. So we tried to do it that you would move, and that's why we had lots and lots of breaks. And I think it worked pretty well. I don't know if anybody noticed that I interrupted the recording of Leonie. So if you didn't notice, I did that on purpose, just to make it seem live. So you all did a great job. It was fantastic, and that's it. There's not much more to say. We have a few announcements and stuff like that, and we'd like to Sab, if you're still on, to say just a few words, very little words. I don't know, Max, help me out now here if I'm not saying, because we made all these videos, lots of them, and the acknowledgements and the introduction are on the channel, so you can watch them later. So there's nothing. I think we've nothing more to say.
So yeah, just to
I have a few announcements though, so that I will do. But I'm talking now about the emotive stuff, about the family and all that. We said it all. Watch the videos. So now announcements are, we will meet again. And I don't mean this emotionally or anything. We will, because we're going to have this meeting again in June 2021, because our project was extended. So this meeting happens in 6 months. I'm going to be very excited, because all of your papers will probably be submitted. And instead of giving a talk about, a scientific talk, well, it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But we could, for example, just have a publication and the video of that publication going through that publication. And if you want, you can complain about the reviewers as well. That would be funny. And we'll have our special issue. Now we'll do our damnedest that our special issue is finished by then. So if Baz is still on the call, I don't know, Baz, but this will be the best special issue ever in toxicology in vitro. What else as announcements? So yeah, we will slowly finish this room here, and but we'll leave the Zoom open all night until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It won't be recorded, don't worry. My bar, I built a bar, and actually we had some conversations about OCD. So yeah, I have a little bit of OCD, and I built a bar in my house because I couldn't go out anymore. And that bar, I have so many stories to tell you about that bar. So I'm gonna write a book over the Christmas, and I'm gonna give all of you a copy. And the bar, well, I won't say the name because I cry. Max, to you.
Sorry.
No, just I'm getting emotional, which is stupid. Pub quiz, Max.
Yeah, so the plan is we didn't really knew when to do it, but I think it's good to have some events, because it's something that probably a lot of you realize. When there is a lot of people into a Zoom, you can not really interact with everyone, and you cannot have this physical fact that you go a bit at the side and you have a chat. So it's good to have something that centralizes the focus. And it's also sometimes a fun things to do. So I prepared a quiz. Most of the questions I reshuffle based on possibly cultural things or crazy things, depending. And I inserted a few of them based on very little surveys that the ESR filled in. And then so what's the timing for that, Paul?
Yeah, so that's at 8 o'clock. So that's why I got sidetracked with my fucking bar. So my bar is open at 6:30, and we'll have a video feed from there. And I have a fire and everything, and we have guitars, and we might have a special musician guest if I'm allowed to get that person in.
So, let me just quickly change, because I don't want to see myself in the spotlight. I'm going to change to gallery view, because actually,
sorry.
Yeah, because actually I'm talking in the name of all the ESRs, so I don't think I need to be in the spotlight. And you said that everything was mentioned on the website, and I think there's one thing missing there. We heard these wonderful videos from the PIs, and it was great to see that, and all these wonderful comments. But I think also as ESRs together, we would like to say something. So we made a thank you note, and that's what I'm going to read for you. And I have 2 screens, so we'll be reading on the screen looking at you, but you're up here somewhere. So if I'm looking up, I'm looking at all of you. So dear Ellen, Paul, Maxime, PIs, Scientific Advisory Board, and everybody else that helped us during this amazing project. From the beginning, when we all made a great impression by being late for the first meeting, we learned important lessons, like how long it takes for 15 people to buy a tram ticket. We found ourselves in a group that was very different from other ITNs we had heard about. One that would have a group of students and PIs that, though scattered physically across Europe, would become like one lab, actively involved and helping with each other's work, even at a distance. And that's something that proved very helpful in this year. Apart from being handy, these weekly meetings also became a moment to look forward to, as it seemed that the only thing being normal during the past year. Alongside the science discussions, there was also time for talking about how to deal with homeworking and some jokes. The project also involved a lot of traveling, discovering new places. One reassuring thing was that we would never be lost with all the languages that the ESR speak. And secondly, you could always count on the fact that Paul would find an Irish pub everywhere we go and invite everybody to join for a drink. Or when Maxime made us cook together during a workshop, or being invited at Paul's and Mark's places to spend an evening together during the workshops. These were valuable moments that true friendships were started. As a group, we, ESRs, but also PIs, were determined to get our name out there, whether that ranged from giving lectures to our fellow scientists, young students, or even to the British Parliament, to covering the convention hall of FSTIF 2018 with stickers and writing in3 in the felt of every chair. Incredible how many congresses an in3 session was made possible for us.
That was in chalk, just in case.
We can tell you a secret. Enthusiasm is contagious, and we are proof of this. And if we would think about the words, or the word that was said most during the in3 project, besides from in3 itself, we think that TempoSeq makes a high chance to be the first one. It all started by choosing the chemicals during the first year. Learning hands-on toxicology, getting all our samples annotated with unique names, getting them to bioclavis to be sequenced, and when the sequencing was finished, making it available for everyone and make sure that we can work with it. An impressive organizational challenge made possible by the dedication of wonderful people through communication and patience. The valuable training received through the past years, more than 45 hours spent online for lectures and more than 4 hands-on in-person workshops besides all the other external education events, made us feel confident and believe in the idea of achieving a non-animal chemical risk assessment. But playing Happy Salmon game and eating the best tiramisu of the famous in3 chef Max was also part of the learning part. Each of us wanted to do her or his best from day one, being motivated by the great scientists we were surrounded by. Without the valuable guidance and feedback, trust, encouragement and support, and the involvement of both our own supervisors as well as the co-supervisors, any achievement wouldn't have been possible. The in3 became instantly a platform where to feel safe and comfortable to share ideas, discuss and find solutions without being judged. Instead, an open science internally and as much externally was something at the heart of the project. What we have learned is that the best science happens in a diverse environment where collaboration is strongly encouraged, where everyone is given the opportunity to contribute towards the goal, where people are committed, critical, and open-minded, and the progress of one is the progress of all. So thank you all, supervisors, scientific advisory boards, but in particular also Ellen, Maxime, Paul, and gratefully yours, the in3 ESRs.
Brilliant. Was that written or printed out?
It was, we wrote it together.
Probably on a OneDrive share, right?
Yeah. It's
Nicoletta?
Actually, yeah, Nicoletta.
I need, you do me a favor now, right? I need that printed with all your signatures on it. and I'm going to put that in pride of place in my house. That was beautiful, really beautiful.
And we've been working on it together in the in3 open OneDrive, and Nicoletta had a brilliant idea to hide it somewhere. So actually you can get to it, but she decided to put it in the AOP folder.
And I've never looked in there, sorry, Mark.
So Nicoletta knew you very well.
No, it was really good. So I need all your signatures. That's fantastic. Really fantastic. I don't. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. I mean, does a SAB want to say a few words, Walter? But I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, if you want to say something, say something. If you don't, you don't have to.
No, I'm online. Yeah. Now I have to say that was an experience for me, being a person who dropped out about 10 years ago from active research myself. But I of course follow my friends and people having been who worked in my lab, and of course I have tight links to Paul. We still have our activities ongoing. Now, my impression at the beginning was that he really picked the right environment. He is, or was, in my experience, the master of controls. There is nothing Paul didn't control in an experiment, at least, I would say 4 times, mostly 5 times, from different points, different angles. So I was always fearing in discussing results with him that another 5 or 10 expensive experiments will result from this discussion and from this meeting. Well, he fulfilled absolutely perfect these characteristics. And when I was at the first meeting and realized who you are and what you are going to do and what you are trying to approach, I had a very good feeling. And I quickly caught the message that you have found quickly an amazing way of interconnecting with each other. I never have experienced this and I have been participating in a few of these EU projects, and I was part of another Marie Curie project and or network training program, and you really quickly caught what is the essence of this whole venture, and you made really a perfect job and have achieved more than me as a scientific advisor, under quotes, ever would have expected. So you have more than fulfilled your job, and stay that way, keep that attitude, and become great scientists.
Thanks very much, Walter. There's plenty of time. Everybody can say something if they want, so I don't want anybody to think I'm going to switch this off. No, thanks, Walter. I mean, one point just to come back at you, that the SAB here did never advise us. They advised the ESRs. And that's why it was nice when Walter would come and he would talk to Cormac and Vijay and all the other ones about their research. I don't think we needed advice. So Max and myself and Martin and all of the other PIs, we basically had it covered. We talked a lot. Me and Max talk a lot, and I think we were saying that yesterday in the Careers Day.
We talked too much and too late in the morning, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, not always. Me and Max call each other during the day as well, and we're in constant communication, and it shows. because I know Max's mind, and it's not that I can predict what he's going to do, but if I really think about it, I know what his answer would be, and I would still disagree. But and this disagreement stuff is really important. You should disagree with people all the time, and then because the more you disagree with them, then you can flip back to try and get their point of view. And if you can understand their point of view, sometimes your mind will change. The great guy called James O'Brien, he's on LBC Radio, and he says there's no point in having a mind if you never change it. So that's what evidence should eventually change your mind, but you have to look for it. And me and Max look continuously. We're continuously challenging each other. Would any of the other SAB members like to say something? Sally Cowley.
Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to be an SAB member. I've been really, really incredibly impressed. As somebody who's sort of started working with iPS cells from, the very early days, which is only just over a decade ago. Let's remember, they're still a very young model. And your cohort of ESRs have done an amazing job at pushing forward the methodologies and getting them to be really useful models for toxicology and for other applications. And so, that's a great legacy, I think, for this program. So, really, really well done to everybody from me. I'll keep it brief because of a lot to say. Yeah, just really well done. I would so have loved myself to have had a program like this when I was doing my PhD. You're incredibly lucky to have been able to develop this family of PhD students that you will be friends for life, I'm sure, and colleagues for life, I'm sure. And I really, really look forward to seeing you going out now into the world of scientific research and having great careers. Well done, everybody.
Thanks very much, Sally. Baz, you're next then. Sally, thanks a lot. I mean, you being in the SAB did much more than you think, because you gave a little dash of credibility to us. And you really were at, I think, only one or two meetings, but you had lots of collaborations with the ESRs, and some people were in your lab, and you were my connection to Yamanaka. So
it's been nice to get to know Carolina and the work that she's been doing on microglia and also with Leonie. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, no, so you did a lot, and we don't always see what everybody does, but I kind of knew as the coordinator what was going on. So thank you very much, Sally. Baz Blower.
Thank you. Well, I don't have much to add to what has already been said by Walter and Sally. I think the quality of what you have done was amazing to me. You had a program that was coherent in one way, but diverse in another way, which meant that you have a tremendous activity done in the field of renewing the field, like Sarah also was saying, renewing the field of the possibility to do risk assessment in toxicology without animal experimentation. Going to the bottom of what is actually happening in cellular systems, going to the bottom of having physiologically based models that are working very well. You did a very good job. I hope that you stay together as a family. That's very important. And I wish you all the luck in your career for extending on what you have been doing in this project. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be there.
Thanks, Baz. It was great having you as an advisor too, because we know kind of Ninka covers your knowledge on the kinetics, but your drive pushing this always. You've noticed it's got into my bloodstream, and it would never have, only you keep banging on about biokinetics, which is so vitally important. Thank you, Baz. would any of the other SAB members like to say something? Oh, Giuseppina, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, hello to everybody. I just wanted to continue with the previous comments. And also I'm been very surprised to find that project, the very ambitious target, in short word, just to be able to measure toxicity directly in humans without animals. And at the beginning, I had the idea that it was too much for a 3-year project. But now I think that the results are so good that you demonstrated the capability to work together at the different levels of representation and of tools. And the final result is something which is, let's say, something unicum. It's not many different projects, but it's something unicum in demonstrating that the target is nearer now. I cannot say that we have obtained all, of course, we have reached good results. Of course, the problem is still very difficult to solve, but the results are very good. And I think that the good lesson for all the students is that they have been exposed to this idea of working together on different methods. And I think this experience, I hope, will be useful for them also in the future. And I've been very happy to see how this kind of cooperation is working.
Well, thank you very much, Giuseppina. It was important also to have more computational views on the SAB, and I think we've got a really nice balance there. So I really appreciate your efforts, and I just want to pick you up on a few, or bring further a few of your thoughts. These projects, I hear all the time. It's my first time to be a coordinator, actually, and it's my first time ever to be involved in a ITN. And I heard lots of other people say, including Max and Walter and Andras, that they're difficult because there's not enough money for the research. So we got something like €3.5 million, but I don't see obstacles. When I see something in my way, I try and figure out how to get around it. And Walter Fowler used to say, what was it, Walter? Money or fear we never had. And I think like Walter, it doesn't matter. You can be creative, think of ways to do it. So the goal was never a real scientific goal, but the goal was to train these kids to be scientists and to bring this fire mantle into their future career, and they will solve it. So this project will solve this problem, because those 15 ESRs, whether they go to industry, regulation, if they stay in academia, those 15 people will fix this problem. So, and I have no doubt about that. So that was a brilliant €3.5 million investment from the EU. We thank the EU as well, of course. But they achieved more than I thought as well, because I didn't think, we did some crazy experiments, and we did it cheaply and efficiently and quick. So yeah, we did a lot more than I thought, but I never thought we would solve any problems here. My point of view is to train these people to solve those problems later. Baz had his hand up. Baz?
I have a question about that. Was there a EU supervisor in this program, and was he or she present in this meeting? I don't think so.
No, the project office. Now this is going to be public, Baz. So let's be fair with people. The project officers for the Marie Curie, I think, are under a lot of strain at the moment, and they did. Let me finish. So they did show up at the midterm meeting, and then they would discuss with all of the ESRs everything. But I don't think they have the capacity to go to all of the meetings. But in the contract, it is that we meet them in the midterm. So we met them. They were there with us for 2 days. I forget the lady's name now, to be honest. Does anybody remember the name?
Yeah. So let me add to what you said, Paul. You said, well, it's the goal to educate these people. There's a saying, and I think Thomas Hartung used it in one of his publications: if you cannot change the world yourself, teach the ones that do. And that's what you did.
Yeah. Well, you don't put too much on me now, because this was a team effort, and I couldn't have done it without the rest of the team. And also, I'm saying this now because I came from Walter's lab. So Walter did that for me, and Ninka did that for you, Baz.
You
And
was
so,
plural. You was plural. You know that.
oh, sorry, plural you. Sorry, I'm still learning Dutch. And it's messing with my head. Okay, I think now we can continue to have this conversation. So if any of the PIs would like to say something, you're more than welcome. I think Ellen, actually, Ellen, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, maybe a practical detail. So we did invite the 6 EU project officers that we had in the last 4 years. But from another project I'm also involved in, I know that the EU Marie Curie ITNs will be switching to a new system that an agency takes care of all the project management.
Yeah, so it's somehow not directly EU. Somehow, I don't fully understand it. So they realize it's not that great at the moment, so they're trying to fix it. Ellen, sorry, continue.
No, that's it. So as of April, that probably will be implemented.
Will be solved, yeah. Because we had 8 project officers through this thing, Baz, and they know they always apologize, but I think they're really, I don't know how many Marie Curies there were in this round, but it was a few hundred. So, you know, it's a lot of work for them. So, but yeah, that's just the way it is. But anyway, we managed fine. And they were very friendly people and responsive, and they just don't have enough time.
I have seen the project officer that was present at the midterm meeting. I've seen her at the Science is Wonderful event. And I don't know if you remember, but she said, oh, the in3 project, oh, that was one of the best projects that I ever seen. So we haven't seen them since then, but they were enthusiastic.
Well, we definitely got to send her the webpage, because if she thought it was great midterm, wait till she sees it now. I think Andras, Andras, go ahead.
Paul, I really share the enthusiasm, because it's not easy, and as a first-time coordinator, you really did created a special, some special effects in, obviously very positively reflected. It's sometimes struggle indeed with funding and changing project officers. Actually, the research executive agency is already an agency and not really the EU. And I'm surprised to hear that it will be even more agency now, because I don't know how to make an agency even more outside. But indeed, that's a problem from there. But yeah, with good intentions, you can overcome lots of troubles, even the COVID, which was a real unexpected disaster for a project based on exchanges in the last year of it, when everybody supposed to frantically move around for the last of the second month. That was really a big trouble. So congratulations to you, and also to Ellen, to overcome, and all the students, of course, and PIs, but that was a major effort. I really appreciate you did.
Thanks, Andres. And let me respond, because I'll forget, and I'll let you do. So yeah, no, I mean, there's always going to be issues. I had in projects, but the COVID. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but we were put in this position, and by really, you know, a virus. So nobody to blame for a virus. But what happened was it paused us. So it gave us time to reflect and figure things out. So when the lockdown came, we were thinking, how do we do it in lockdown? All of us, I mean, every single one of you in the world were thinking, and we kind of cracked this. So this meeting wouldn't have happened like this without COVID. It was lucky we got it in a time when we got it, because we had the tempo-seq data in. And then everybody was forced back into their in silico mode, and it made us analyze the hell out of that data because they couldn't go to the labs anymore. So actually, we got lucky. I mean, we got really lucky. So I think this project is successful, not in spite of COVID, because of COVID. Well, it's a factor in it anyway. And don't get me wrong, I wish the virus never existed and all these people who died. Is terrible. But the vaccines are rolling out, and I'm much more positive mood about the whole thing. Walter is trying to talk, but he can't, and then it's Ellen next. Okay, we do Ellen first. Walter, remember what he's going to say. Ellen?
That was exactly my point, Paul. So you already said it. So I think we were lucky that we had a Ljubljana meeting in February, and then based on that, everybody could hit it off with the data analysis.
Yeah. And that I could go skiing at least once these 2 years. Okay, anybody else would like to say something? Is somebody talking there? Hi, Nico.
Walter.
Walter, sorry, go ahead, Walter. Yeah.
No, nothing. Tomorrow I'm going to have my antibody titer for COVID-19 assessed.
I hope it's high.
I am vaccinated on the natural way.
Yeah, that's typically you. Do it the hard way, but the right way. Emilio, you go ahead. Yeah.
Very short, a couple of things. So as I said, it was not a joke. Actually, I learned a lot. And you have seen the talk that Anna gave, the talk by Christian. So I couldn't have a better presentation. So they actually, I think they are able now to give presentation better than me. As you know, I'm not very brilliant in this. Regarding the coordination, so far I've been in, I think, 51, 52 projects. So I had many EC projects. I had many coordinators. I coordinated 20 something, but I had many coordinators. But I think that Paul is the best that I had. So this is all I want to say.
That's nice, Emilio. And you know what? It's funny. I would never have wrote it only for Emilio, because Emilio asked me to join another one, and it was the one before this one, and we didn't get enough points, so we didn't get selected. And then I said to Emilio, "Let's do it again, and I'll help you, and you coordinate it." And he said, "No, Paul, you do it. I'll help you." And without him, I would never have wrote it. And then Ninka nearly made us not submit it because she lost the whole file set just 10 minutes before submission.
I did not. I just think it may be me.
Might have been Ninka. Allegedly, somebody that might have been Ninka, but we recovered it quickly and we submitted. Just my heart stopped when the file to submit was deleted from the Dropbox and it wasn't in the recycle bin. Yeah, okay. Anybody else want to say something?
Oh, yeah. I always want to say something.
Oh, yes, Giovanni.
I just, yeah, much has been said, and I just can agree on how friendly this consortium was, how constructive, respectful. I especially liked how much the students interacted over millions of kilometers by glass fiber cables. The interaction was really, really working well. Yeah, I have been also in a lot of different consortia. And the one thing that I probably learned, those consortia that were successful at the end were those consortia that did not have any egomaniac PI.
No.
And we don't have this here. Everybody was always helpful and still is always helpful and open to fun and crazy ideas and discussions, and I think that makes a consortium, and especially a consortium that is aimed for training and education, so valuable. So also from my point of view, money well spent for the future, and I really would like to thank all of you, my fellow PIs, Paul, Ellen, and all the fantastic ESRs. That we were and we are part of it. So it's still ongoing, yeah, but probably this now is the time to say this, and yeah, I would love to collaborate with you in the future as well. This is what science should be.
That's what I said, Giovanni, that they should remember us when they're famous, you know, and just give us a little job to do so we can still doing this kind of stuff. No, I like that's Giovanni. I love talking with you. But the thing you said about ego, it's so true. I mean, I gave a lecture series on people with Nobel prizes, and I just change them every year. I flip it, and I talk about what the discovery was as well in the person. And now in modern day, you can watch the videos that they give afterwards. And maybe Sally can back me up here. I watched Yamanaka's, Shinya Yamanaka's video. What a humble man. I mean, amazingly humble. And he gave a little talk, a little pep talk for students, master students, bachelor students, PhD students, on how to be a scientist and how to fail and fail well. And man, you could see there's no egotistical thing there at all in it. I guess, Sally, that you agree with that, yeah? Oh, Sally, we can't hear you. I don't know why. Or is it just me?
Starting up his own lab, how he really didn't kind of have any well, I mean, he had confidence in what he was doing, but trying to recruit people to do the experiments that he wanted to do, you know, was quite hard because they just seemed so sort of way out there. But he managed to persuade some people who turned, you know, into a fantastic technology. So that really stands the test of time.
Yeah, so I think we discussed yesterday what you need to have to be a successful scientist, and Johannes has just pointed out what you don't need is to be an egomaniac, because that's not going to work for you. I don't think well, there might be a few of you, but you're young still. I think you'll mature into non-egomaniac people. Anybody else want to say some words?
Just a couple of things, Paul.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, just everybody else as you know, said pretty much what I wanted to say. But just to reiterate, the success of the project, I think, is down to many factors and down to every single person that has put the effort in. And I think that is one thing that I think is key, that they have put a really like 110% into this. And I think special thanks to yourself and to Max and also Ellen for leading from the top and you know, giving a great example of with the enthusiasm and everything. So just thank you to everybody for the success. So,
as they say in Ireland, Boulabusk.
That means round of applause. Yeah.
Oh, actually, we could do an Irish thing. Really mess with people. Okay, I give a little bit more time if anybody else wants to say something. Anybody at all, actually, even the users. Anna, you can go ahead, Anna.
Thank you. I was expecting you also invite the users to talk. I would try to be briefly because I have a lot of things to say about the project, and I think we don't have time.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. One sentence at a time.
Yeah, and yeah. So first, I want to say thank you. I want to say that this project changed my life. I don't consider to myself as the best inside of the project, but I consider to myself as one of the persons that have grown more inside of this project. And I'm really glad. I was 3 years ago without perspective, and when I came here, I earned everything. I have had the opportunity. It was the first time I was going outside of my country. I have the opportunity to visit almost all European countries. I had the opportunity to make secondments at great places. I was with Cronin. I still say to him, Professor Cronin, and he was always so polite with me, saying, "Oh, please, Anna, only call me Cronin or Mark." And I was so glad for that. I had the opportunity to go in Laureate. That was amazing. I have just now, I feel satisfied with my CV. I had the opportunity to work with Emilio that have been an amazing person from a scientific point of view and also as a human person. And I don't know, when I left my country, I was so scared to go far away from my family. And I think every sacrifice until now, it was good one. I remember when I arrived in the first meeting in Milano, and I was already late. I was speaking English really, my English was terrible. Actually, it's almost terrible. Also now it's a little bit better. So I learned languages, a little bit of Italian. I was able to have publications, to have a nice CV. So to meet all you, it was wonderful. I was so scary about all you. It was hard, and at the end I only find friends and a family, as you said before, and I'm glad for that. And there were people that have a main role on that, and I am really glad to Christian. Christian had a lot of passions with me when my English was terrible, and he was always helpful. Actually, I didn't know how to use OneDrive. I don't know if you know, but in my country the internet is blocked and everything is blocked, so I was learning from the beginning. Even so, he taught me to use the coffee machine. And I am glad for that. I never will forget that. I never will forget this project. It was opening and changing completely my life. So thank you to everyone.
Anna, thank you very much. But I want to tell you a few things. Everybody's PhD, I know what you mean, and I'm not taking away from you, but everybody's PhD changes their life. It was very different for you because you came from Cuba and you saw all these countries and so quickly and fast. Also, when I left Ireland to Austria, and I know it's not the same thing, it's completely not the same because we were in the EU, but I was so fascinated by Austria too, and Germany and all the countries I went to. So I understand how you feel, but Cuba's so far away and you didn't have enough money to go home all the time. So yeah, but I really, really liked talking to you when you couldn't speak English. That was fantastic because you get so frustrated. No, no. And you used to shout at me that I was trying to understand what you were saying. It was brilliant. And we would talk late at night. And eventually we figured out each other what we meant. Because I would just go through the words. And then you would say, yeah, that one. I always understood you, Anna. I just saw you were getting frustrated trying to get what you meant out. Because I misunderstood you a few times. But I understood you, and you're a pleasure. Anna sometimes gives me a call as well, and that's nice. I think you're the only one who does that. It's really nice. Actually, Anna was living in the Netherlands for quite a while during the lockdown, and I didn't know that. You should have come up and visit me. So thanks, Anna. I'm really glad you did that now because it would have been a pity that we didn't have one single ESR signed it. I'm pretty sure Anna covered that for most of the ESRs that came from outside Europe. But again, we have time. If anybody else wants to contribute, please do so. This is unusual that people are quiet in a room together. So I think we've said everything that we need to say. Oh no, Carolina. That's okay, Carolina, go on.
I would like to thank everyone for the very nice environment. I'm addicted to multicultural environment since I was in GRC. And I really think that we learn a lot when we are taking out from our comfort zone. For me, that was Portugal. And I also, again, it's not the same, but I understand a bit what Anna said about changing, and suddenly you are in a different environment that you have to learn so many new things. And the good thing is that we get addicted to it and we adapt and we learn a lot. And for me, when you move, when you accept to change and to learn, that you find yourself and the others too. So thank you everyone for teaching me so much, not just about science, but about you individually, about your culture, about politics too, because sometimes we have to discuss some things about politics, and for the very nice moments, and also to sometimes give me frustration so I can learn a bit more how to be a calm person. So thank you all. And well, it's not the last meeting, so we can cry in 6 months. So we get it a bit delayed again, the crying moment.
Carolina, what you just said is fucking amazing. basically you said I've never fully understood it before. Why do they do Marie Curie training networks that you have to move the mobility grants? That's it. That's it. They want us to talk to other European citizens, to have these 15 other engagements with people most likely not from your own country. They want you to talk about politics. They want you to learn other languages, even if it's only a little bit. They keep it open to the world as well. They don't block non-Europeans joining this. So for the first time ever, because of what you said, I've understood what the EU is doing. Science is also an important part of it, but that's not the main part. I loved what you said.
I think it should be mandatory to spend some time abroad in our education. I think it's very expensive, but I think we would learn a lot. And European Union pushes us. There's Erasmus programs. There's the country, the train ticket that you can travel. So we have to take this in our hands and enjoy it and share it with the others, because a lot of people that is against European Union doesn't understand the world before, because maybe they don't remember. I don't remember it, but my parents remember not being in European Union, and things were quite different. Portugal is still today 20 years delayed to this.
Yeah, I mean, Ireland and Portugal were the poorest countries in Europe in the late 70s. So we knew too, Carolina. But let's not go into politics here, just because it's open forum. And we can have those conversations later in my bar, okay? I know what you said there was really important, but the one thing that caught me, you said that you had to adapt. And that fascinates me, because it was the same for me, even though I wasn't in a Marie Curie. I went at the end of my PhD to Austria, and yeah, because everything's new. So you're learning science and everything else at the same time. So I guess you move back to a kind of a childlike state where your mind is open for everything. And that's an interesting thing. My God, you're so intelligent people that you have these original thoughts that even convinced me of something that I never thought of before. Nice one, Carolina. Okay, Ellen.
Really short comment only. As a scientist, you remain curious and creative your whole life, right?
We hope so. Yeah. Sarah, oh my God, the pub is open in 2 hours. Go on, Sarah, and I still have to stock it. Go on, Sarah.
I try to keep it short, and I'm trying to not to get emotional again, but I have
okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's a happy cry. It's fine, but it's just difficult to get your words out, because that happens to me all the time. Yeah.
So I want to thank to the advisory boards and PIs to give this fortune, and I want to thank especially today that our extension is confirmed. So when all the PIs are here and from all the organizations, so I want to thank again from my side that you all agreed with it and you all signed it and we could get it. And I know that Paul and Maxime and Ellen and Giovanni especially, they had a very difficult time putting everything together, documenting, presenting to EU, and I really appreciate it and thank you a lot. And I try to tell it very fast, but as you know that I joined 6 months later, so I didn't want to give up, but I was so worried about being adopted to the project, and it just happened because of the supports of all the ESRs beside the PIs. So very happy, very appreciated to get to know you and work with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. But why would you doubt us? We would do anything for you or for any one of the, legally for for you or for any of the other ESRs. I mean, anything. So now in your nascent careers, you just ask us and we will deliver, and you know we will. You're very, very lucky. I mean, all of the PIs are good, but you're especially lucky to have Giovanni as your boss, because he's calm about things. Because I would have been worried as well if I was in Giovanni's shoes. And you know what? He stuck with you where many others wouldn't, because he didn't know you yet. So he was struggling to get your visa through the Austrian courts. And I think a lot of PIs would have given up already because they had no relationship with you. So Giovanni was supporting you before he even knew you, which is, well, it just tells something about that man. I mean, he's there in the middle. Yeah, you're a wonderful man, Giovanni. And thanks for helping me help her. I think we can probably stop now, right? Somebody else wants to put their hand up. We stopped on a high. And actually, do you know what? For my OCD, it's perfect because we're just on time. 4 minutes to go. Perfect. I'm going to go for a walk now, and I suggest some of you do the same. Go outside. I have to collect firework for my fire as well, and then I'm going to organise with Ellen that we get something to eat. But I will be in my bar at 6:30, and I'm looking forward to having a drink with you. And those of you who do drink alcohol, make sure you have alcohol in the house because it's going to be a long night. Oh, and one more thing. Okay, Google, play Happy Birthday.
Okay, here's the Spotify playlist called Happy Birthday.
Because it's my birthday if you haven't heard.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Thanks, Martin. Sorry, I forgot yours.
You're all right.
To sing it too? Happy birthday.
Hey, Google, fast forward 1 minute.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Thanks, Baz.
Happy birthday, Paul.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.